Geoff Mosher covers the Eagles, FanRag Sports. The Eagles locker room getting ready to open in about 15 minutes from now as he'll get more information on this team. But Mosher, I want to get into Carson Wentz. You wrote about him at FanRagSports.com, and there's a number that sticks out about him. You know, he's an interesting cat because the numbers don't jump off the page. He's not overly accurate. I mean, he's one of them guys that just seems to have that special something about him. Can't really pinpoint what it is, but you wrote about something that is special about Carson Wentz.
Yeah, guys. Hey, what's going on? Thanks for having me on. I think in general, and I'm not trying to overplay this, that Carson Wentz is like the greatest thing since sliced bread, and people are only choosing certain numbers and looking at that. But while he is kind of, 16th, I think, in the NFL in passer rating, around 90.5, and completion percentage is a little bit down, I think some drops have kind of hurt him, and also the rhythm of the passing offense the first two games have hurt. But one thing he's doing really well, he's among the leaders, top three, I believe, in passer rating on third down, which is so vital to what the Eagles have been doing this year as far as controlling the clock. Last year, guys, the Eagles everybody knows the Eagles led the NFL in time of possession at around 32 minutes. They're up to 35 minutes this year, so they're doing it 3 minutes longer, which is an eternity in the NFL, and still leading the league in time of possession. And they've also been a very good red zone offense. So I think those little things that Carson does as far as being efficient on third down, red zone, and that all, to me, and what the point of the story was, is because he's been given so much responsibility at the line of scrimmage, not just audibles, but obviously with the run-pass option where he gets to decide, but, getting the right play in and switching whatever side to its advantage. He does so much at the line of scrimmage that you kind of don't usually see with a lot of quarterbacks in year two, and some of them you don't see, especially with these offenses where the head coaches control them all now. You don't see a guy have that much autonomy. So I give him a lot of credit for all the work that he puts in behind the scenes and everything he does at the line of scrimmage for why the Eagles offense has been able to move and control the ball so well this year.
Now, Geoff, you also wrote at FanRag Sports about some recent changes in the Eagles offense. It's not easy. It's not hard to see what the big change has been. It's Wentz turning around and handing it off to this three-headed monster that they've kind of put together here. Do you anticipate that will continue to be their recipe?
It's a great question, Pete. I think this week coming up, this game against the Cardinals is a real test for both Carson and Doug in their real commitment to running the ball. We'll see what's going on with Wendell Smallwood. He wasn't at practice today. He didn't practice yesterday, so hopefully they're not down yet another running back. But this Arizona Cardinals team, I was just watching some tape on them from a couple of games. I mean, they put a lot of guys up on scrimmage, and they're very fast and physical. So they get to I think they have either the top three run defense in the league, and it's not going to be easy to just sit there and pound away at them, 39, 40 times like they did against the Giants and the Chargers, who both have, low-ranked run defenses right now. So this is a much different animal, and I do think they're going to have to open it up a little bit more. I think you still have to be committed to what you do best. It's basically your strength, the offensive line, versus their strength, the defensive line. So you do have to still commit it to it, but I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a little bit more like first down play action passing, trying to expose that fast, aggressive front seven that the Cardinals have.
Mosh, that was Mike's question. This is Pete now, and I do want to ask you about, I keep hearing how bad the Cardinals' offensive line is. Do you see that?
Pete, how old am I getting, man? I'm confusing you and Mike. Gee, I need to stop.
Hey, come on. I could have sworn that our voices sound a lot different.
We're like twins, Julius. We are brothers.
It's not you guys. I'm just going senile. I'm sorry. Too many years on the Eagles beat. You were asking me about what, the offensive line of the Cardinals?
The Cardinals' offensive line, because I keep hearing about how terrible and awful it is. Do you see that as well?
Yeah, well, I mean, I do see they have a tough time dominating in the trenches, getting that run game going. But I also noticed that Carson Palmer being sacked 6 times in each of the past 2 games, a little bit on Carson Palmer. So it's weird because I've been watching some tape, and there are times where Carson Palmer makes the throw from 2 years ago, Carson Palmer, and then there are some times you're seeing Carson Palmer be the one of last year who really struggled, especially in the first half. So I don't know if it's all on the offensive line, but it is a beat-up offensive line. I think they lost another guy recently, Beldier, but they may have gotten Humphreys back. But I do think that's an area where the Eagles can exploit with their front seven.
Geoff Mosher's with us. And, Mosher, I guess one area where we're all concerned is the Eagles' secondary versus these wide receivers. Fitzgerald always seems to hurt the Eagles, and they've got some good speed at that position. Now, they don't run the ball all that well, so this could be Carson Palmer chucking the ball down the field.
Well, it could be, and if you go back to the big play that Phillip Rivers had to Tyrell Williams, the 75-yard touchdown, what they did was, I believe it was on a first or second down, they came out in max protection. You know, they had about 7 guys up on that line and made it look like a run, play action. They gave, those big bodies gave Rivers some time to throw the ball, and obviously Williams only needed a few seconds to burn Rasul Douglas. I would pay attention to these 2 names in this upcoming game. Jaron Brown, the wide receiver for the Cardinals, who's very, very good, probably underrated. And the running back, Andre Ellington, without David Johnson, he has become kind of like a Westbrook type of guy. I saw him catch a touchdown flexed out as a wide receiver on a timed pattern from Palmer against last week against the 49ers. So they're going to look to isolate him on the outsides against the Eagles corners and see if he can't even make some yards. And I suspect he'll be able to. So keep that Jaron Brown. I mean, everybody knows Larry Fitzgerald. That's obvious. Jaron Brown and Andre Ellington could be 2 guys that you really got to kind of watch out for.
All right, Geoff Mosher, FanRag Sports, covers the Eagles. He's getting ready to hop into the Eagles locker room for today's availability. And, of course, Mosher every Thursday here with us talking Eagles and the Cardinals today on the Sports Bash 97.3 ESPN. All right, Mosher, good stuff, pal.
Be well, guys. Talk to you soon.